Today's video idea came courtesy by a member of my Discord channel, and that would be Goki. If you would like your video idea to be featured, make sure to join my Discord channel and check out my video suggestion feed. I'm a huge fan of launch roller coasters. Not only are they neat by omitting the traditional lift, but the sounds that they make. I love listening to the roar of Top Thrill as it flies down the launch, or the whining sound of an LSM launch makes propelling the train. Of course, the main reason we love launching roller coasters is the strong G forces. Having our body forced back into the seat, pinned down, is enough to get my heart racing. Now, not every launch coaster is created equal. Some feature ultra-intense launches, with this being the pivotal moment of the ride. Others are simply designed to get you up to speed without any flair, and the rest of the ride is the focal point of that attraction. Finally, there is the mix of the two, the launch being an awesome element that complements the rest of the ride. As for my criteria that makes a good launch coaster, I look at rides that have a good mix of both, strong forces and a solid layout. Every roller coaster that I feature is one that I've ridden, so don't be disappointed if your favorite launch coaster didn't make the cut. It's possible I just haven't ridden it yet. Before I get to my top 10 list, I wanted to give a shout out to a few honorable mentions. Number 10, Skyrocket. Located at Kennywood Park, opened in 2010, built by Premier Rides. It was a toss-up when deciding which version would make it to the top 10 list. I decided with Skyrocket because it's located at my home park. The ride has a solid first half, including a decent launch, top hat, cutback, zero-G roll, and a near vertical drop. After 11 years of operation, this roller coaster is still butter smooth, something that I can't say about a few of my next mentions. To experience the best airtime, sit in the back row. That drop off the trims has some epic ejector. Number 9, FireChaser Express. Located at Dollywood, opened in 2014, built by Gerstlauer. Avid followers of my channel should not be surprised to see this coaster making the cut. I love FireChaser Express, and I think it's one of the best coasters at Dollywood. It's not super intense, but delivers a well-rounded experience. The launches may be slow, but still have a bite to them. The backwards launch is the highlight of the ride. I love traveling backwards while experience a couple pops of airtime along the way. The first half of the ride is still decent, including a couple great airtime hills. Finally, the excellent theming by Dollywood rounds out this attraction. I recommend a ride in the front row, that way you are at the back of the train during the backwards portion, which is where the best airtime moments of the ride occur. Number 8, GaleForce. Located at Playland's Castaway Cove, opened in 2017, built by S&S Sansai Technologies. This roller coaster took me by complete surprise. I assumed, with its challenging start, that GaleForce was another run-of-the-mill launch coaster clawing at the heels of Premier Rides. Well, I'm glad to report that that's not the case. GaleForce is an excellent launch roller coaster loaded with weird elements and crazy ejector airtime. This roller coaster feels like it's actively trying to throw you from the ride. If it wasn't for its jerky jackhammering effect, I'd rank this roller coaster even higher. For the best place to ride, I recommend up front, however the smoother ride experience will be found in an inner seat, middle row. Number 7, Copperhead Strike. Located at Carowinds, opened in 2019, built by Mack Rides. Copperhead Strike has the weakest launch out of all the roller coasters on today's list. Yes, that even includes FireChaser Express. With that said, the rest of the ride is solid. It has a very creative layout loaded with hang time and airtime. My favorite moment of the ride has to be the cutback. The ride feels as if it doesn't get enough speed to complete the inversion, so you crawl through that maneuver, staring down at the queue below. As for the best place to ride Copperhead, I'd say closer to the front. You get a little bit more hang time, and that's the primary focus of this attraction. Number 6, Thunderbird. Located at Holiday World, opened in 2015, built by B&M. For a manufacturer that doesn't like to stray too far from the mold, B&M really mixed things up by including an LSM launch with this wing coaster. It's a forceful launch that delivers the G-forces. I grayed out during and prior to the vertical loop. Thunderbird ends with a bang by crashing through a barn while slowly rolling upside down. The best place to ride Thunderbird is up front. Having nothing in front of you enhances that feeling of flying through the sky. Number 5. Cheetah Hunt. Located at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Opened in 2011, built by Intamin Amusement Rides. This LSM launch coaster features 3 launches, all providing a nice punch. Cheetah Hunt is a very long ride, which is surprising for a launch coaster. I love how this roller coaster is designed to mimic a cheetah, including the giant tree-like structure where you prowl around waiting to pounce down below on unsuspecting prey. My favorite part of the ride is when you get low to the ground, weaving across the riverbed while dodging boulders. I think the best place to ride this roller coaster is in the back row. It's where you'll experience the best airtime, however, the front row is still a great place to sit and adds a nice pop of air when flying up into the tree-like structure. Okay, before we get to the final 4 roller coasters on today's list, I do want to let you know that I had the toughest time deciding in which way that they rank. All of these final roller coasters are some of my favorite of all time, and sometimes it's just really tough to decide which one is better, especially when we're talking about launch roller coasters, but anyways, here's the remaining 4. Number 4, Lightning Rod. Located at Dollywood, opened in 2016, built by Rocky Mountain Construction. It may have had a rocky start, but Lightning Rod has blossomed into one of the best coasters on the planet. This coaster is loaded with airtime, and one of the only roller coasters I know where it gets more intense as the ride goes along. By the time you're flying by the station, the train has basically reached near its max speeds. Also, another interesting feature is that Lightning Rod is one of the only 2 RMC creations that feature zero inversions. Instead of including a trademark zero-G roll or stall, Lightning Rod lays down the law with its quad down, showing riders what true ejector airtime is. I think the consensus will tell you that the front row is the best place to ride Lightning Rod, but honestly the middle row provided a good balance throughout the entire ride. Number 3, Top Thrill Dragster. Located at Cedar Point, opened in 2003, built by Intamin Amusement Rides. It's hard to believe that this massive record-breaking attraction is now 18 years old. No one is building roller coasters like this, which is a shame. Kingda Ka, its successor, edged out in height and speed, but it's a more rough ride, which is why it was included in the honorable mention and didn't make the ranking. Top Thrill Dragster is still rather smooth, and with a lap bar restraint, it's clearly the dominant coaster. The launch is obviously the highlight of this attraction, but you can't forget about that 400-foot vertical drop with a 270-degree spiral back down to Earth. The best seat on Top Thrill is up front, nothing like feeling the full force of the wind. The launch on this roller coaster is so intense, it feels like my face is going to be ripped right off. Number 2, Maverick. Located at Cedar Point, opened in 2007, built by Intamin Amusement Rides. The birth of the Blitz coaster, Maverick is a roller coaster that has it all. The launches, beyond vertical drop, high-speed turns, airtime, inversions, a second launch, crazy outer bank turns, snappy transitions, you name it, this ride has it. Breaking from Cedar Point tradition, Maverick is actually a rather short roller coaster, not in length but in height. Most of the time, Cedar Point tries to focus on building roller coasters that are very tall and very intimidating. Maverick, looking at it, doesn't seem like an intimidating roller coaster until you strap in. Steel Vengeance may be the best roller coaster at Cedar Point, but I know that some will argue that Maverick is the better coaster. I think the best place to ride Maverick is in the back row. You get some amazing ejector airtime going down that first beyond vertical drop. Number 1, Storm Runner. Opened in 2004, built by Intamin Amusement Rides. If we really want to talk about a roller coaster that has it all, look no further than Storm Runner. Starting off with an amazing hydraulic launch, Storm Runner competes with Top Thrill Dragster for ride intensity. However, instead of having a very short layout like Top Thrill Dragster, this ride features 3 inversions and a couple more amazing ejector airtime moments. This ride almost kind of feels like a combination of Top Thrill Dragster and Maverick all mixed into one. For the longest time, Stormrunner featured my favorite inversion, the Flying Snake Dive. This is basically an inversion that starts off like a barrel roll, but ends somewhat like a dive loop. Also, another fun fact, Stormrunner is the only roller coaster that I've reviewed that has received a perfect 10 score in all categories. The ride intensity is top notch. The presentation of this attraction, just how it's located and interacts with all the rides in the area, is obviously astounding. The creativity that went into the ride layout by featuring inversions that we've never seen before in a tight, snappy layout is just what makes Stormrunner the best launch coaster that I've ever ridden. As for the best place to ride this roller coaster, I think the front or back will do just fine, but I do prefer up front. Just like Top Thrill Dragster, I like sitting up front to feel the wind blasting against your face during the launch. Well, that wraps up my list of my top 10 favorite launch roller coasters. I hope this list took you by surprise, because it did for me. As I was writing down the roller coasters and figuring out where they should rank, I was very surprised where I ended up placing some of these coasters. I was also surprised that there was a few coasters that I didn't think would make the cut, and well, they did. Once again, I want to give another shout out to Goki for providing this list. As I said, go join my Discord, give me some more ideas, as I'd love your suggestions to create future content on this channel. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to click that like button and subscribe. That way you continue to get great content brought to you by Extreme Thrills.